Well, first of all, let's define what generosity is. Here it is, a working definition anyway. Think about it. Generosity is the willingness to share something you have that you could keep for yourself, but instead you choose to give it away. So generosity is the willingness to share something you have that you could keep for yourself, but instead you choose to give it away. And throughout the Bible, beginning to end, there's this idea that people who are invited to follow God and people who accept that invitation to follow God, that they're blessed in order to be a blessing. Two important phrases. They're blessed in order to be a blessing. The idea is that what God has given to you, the resources you have, the mind you have to think, the skills that you have, the ability to encourage, your financial resources, all these things, the time that you have, that these aren't meant to just be for you, they're meant to go through you, to change the world as they go through you. And as these resources go through you, they do something to you, right? Something happens to you. It's this lifestyle of generosity. It changes you in palpable, observable ways. This is really important. I want to talk about this for a minute because the palpable, observable ways are really pretty incredible. Like the University of Notre Dame has an entire team of researchers devoted to the study of generosity and its impact on people and culture. How generosity impacts people and culture. It's an ongoing research project, and we've got a website. If you want to dig deeper, I'll put it up on the screen. This website that shows their findings. And here are just the tip of the iceberg of things they found in the generosity study. They found that people who are generous are significantly, measurably less depressed. People who are generous, they have found, are much less likely to take antidepressants. Not that there's anything wrong with taking antidepressants, but they just noticed that that's one of the factors they found. They noticed that people who are generous report a measurable greater level of happiness in their lives. Here's one statement from the website. If Americans want to be happier, healthier people who live with greater purpose, suffer less depression, and enjoy more personal growth, they should learn to be generous. Now, here's what I got to point out. This was not pastors that wrote this and did the study. This is not religious leaders in any type, right? These are secular researchers that are making this statement. And that takes us to our scriptures, our passages of Scripture. There are many in there about this. And by the way, we're going to look at a passage from Proverbs. And if you haven't ever read the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament, it is a great read. There are 150 very short little passages in there that speak about life. They're observances about life. And one of the observances is this. One of the writers put it this way. Some give freely, yet grow all the richer. Others withhold what is due and only suffer want. It wraps up by saying, a generous person will be enriched. Now, I would guess you've experienced this or seen it in the lives of other people where you see somebody who spends their whole life acquiring and, you know, that drive to acquire, they get a new car and they're happy with it and they're in love with this car for a week or a month and then pretty soon they're not and got to get something newer, faster, better, bigger, whatever. Same thing with a house. When they get a house and they love the house and the house is everything and then suddenly it's nothing anymore and they got to get a different house, a bigger house, better house, smaller house, whatever it is. They never seem happy. But at the same time, you see people that are really content. And they don't really care about that stuff. It doesn't really make a difference to them. And that contentment you can observe is connected to the fact that they're very generous people. It's a way of life. It's meant to be a way of life. Generosity in the study, generosity leads people to feel wealthier than they really are. Isn't that interesting? Generosity is the antidote to our tendency towards selfishness. It is meant to be a way of life. It's wired into us.